We're going to begin with what you need to know, and there is news in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs receiver, has been in kind of an unofficial suspended status. Remember, on the first evening of the draft, that chilling audio came out. A couple of hours later, the Chiefs reached a mutual agreement with Hill that he would stay away from off-season workouts. He's been away from off-season workouts. He never returned before the conclusion of the off-season program. Now, multiple reports indicate that Hill will be meeting with NFL investigators this week. And parsing the various reports together, Chris, it comes out like this. Wednesday is the first one. Multiple interviews set, which could track the reality that there are multiple potential violations of the personal conduct policy that the league is looking into. And I think the league would like to move this along because training camp is going to be here in less than a month. They need to start making some decisions about what Tyreek Hill's status is going to be when the 2019 regular season rolls around.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that that we're getting somewhere here and that the NFL is finally going to have a chance to talk to him and dig into this, whole subject a little bit. The one thing I'm amazed by, really, more than anything that jumps out to me to read this is, what do the Kansas City Chiefs feel like right now? Are they like mad at the NFL to say like, hey, could you guys get this going? Could you come to town and investigate and hurry up already? Because like you said, training camp's coming. Tyreek Hill is a huge part of their team. You'd like to make adjustments. And I know they've drafted guys to maybe replace them and McCole Hardman from Georgia in the second round and things like that. But, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm a little annoyed that the league has drug its feet a little here too, just so you can't really figure out what you want to do on your roster and how you want to frame your offensive team to a degree.
Well, I agree with you. And also, if the NFL isn't going to make a final decision, if they're going to continue to defer to law enforcement proceedings in Kansas, where, among other things, there's an ongoing question of when and if Tyreek Hill's 3-year-old child will be reunited with Hill and the child's mother, Crystal Espinal. As of May, it looked like the league was going to continue to wait for that procedure to finish before ever talking to Hill. So something's happened to allow the NFL to accelerate. And from the Chiefs' perspective, if he ends up on the commissioner exempt list, they end up paying him to not play football.
Right.
If he's not going to play at some level, it's fair for them to say, we don't want to pay him to not play. So I think that the wheels are now in motion for what would be a potential suspension as of week 1 of the regular season. He'd be eligible, presumably, to be with the team for training camp in the preseason. Any suspension would begin upon the conclusion of the 4th preseason game. And, Chris, there's a lot of people out there, specifically Chiefs fans, who have themselves convinced that the only way he can be suspended is if there's sufficient proof that he in some way injured his 3-year-old child. And I've studied the personal conduct policy. You can be suspended for making threats, and you can interpret that audio tape that we first heard in late April as containing a threat against a woman that he admitted to having choked and beaten while she was pregnant in December of 2014. And also, there's language in the personal conduct policy that could be applied to Hill as it relates to whatever circumstances in the household resulted in the child being removed from his custody. That is a major deal. When the state intervenes and interferes with the relationship between parent and child, it takes a lot to get that to happen. So whatever was going on in the household that caused the government to come in and take that child away could be grounds for a separate violation of the personal conduct policy. And hovering over all this is what I mentioned a minute ago.
Right.
The fact that he's previously engaged in heinous violence against Crystal Espinal and has never suffered an NFL consequence for it other than falling to round 5 of the draft, never suspended by the NFL for it. That's going to influence what the NFL does with him. So there's a stew of factors here that I think leads to a suspension. The question, Chris, is how long will the suspension be? That's something that we'll find out between now and presumably the start of the regular season.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be interested to see. Again, this is not a good look. We know that. I don't know what to believe in the whole story at this point. Whether it's Hill, Espinal, it's both, whatever. I don't know where the story is exactly. I really don't. All I know is it's a really bad look for Tyreek Hill, and certainly wasn't doing the best job, being a father and being a good husband. But Mike, something you brought up too that just jumps out to me about the commissioner exempt list, and having to pay him and all that too. Maybe that's what the NFL does going further. You want to draft a guy that's got some red flags by him in the, coming out in the NFL draft. Okay, but if something happens happens, maybe that needs to be something going forward. You're on the hook for paying him if he gets in trouble again or something like that.
Why? Why do you want to reward the guy? Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Or maybe some way you find. I'm just saying maybe
There's one way. There's one way to create a disincentive to take chances on guys that you shouldn't take chances on. Because as of right now, take draft picks. You got to come up with a formula that takes away future draft picks. Because the Chiefs looked at this when they drafted Tyreek Hill. Hey, it's a 5th-round pick. And you know what? If he never plays another down for the Chiefs, it was a good investment of a 5th-round pick.
Sure.
Right? They'd surely like to have him for 7 more years.
Yeah.
But if he never plays again, hey, risk-reward.
Yeah, we
won.
Right.
We had a great player for 3 years.
That's right.
And you don't want the analysis to go that way. Just like Richie Incognito with the Raiders. You don't want the analysis to be, oh, what the hell? It's a minimum value contract. If he does something that he shouldn't do, we just cut him. There should be a greater consequence when you roll the dice on a guy that has made who he is.
That's where I was going. Your idea is better than mine.
Attention.
Yeah, your idea is better than mine. That's what I was trying to say about the team today. Not that shocking. Go ahead, you jerk.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.